Welcome back, everybody. We just found out in the break that Rochelle has a massive head.
Please, guys, this is... look, and I'm not even exaggerating.
It's very snug.
Wow.
It's very snug
Sorry
indeed.
about that, guys. I'm more this kind of girl.
This couldn't more go with my outfit. Look at this vibe, man.
This looks really legit.
I'm legit. Get me into the Yorkshire Vet immediately. Get a glove on my hand. It's time now for a taste of the fine country life.
Yes, because for over 40 years, our next guest has been caring for all creatures great and small in North Yorkshire. But it's thanks to the long-running TV series, The Yorkshire Vet, that's made him an unexpected star across the world.
Now on to its 19th series, the heartwarming drama continues with Peter Wright and his team busier than ever.
Across Yorkshire's moors and dales, the world's most famous vet set the benchmark for animal care. And James Herriot's legacy lives on. His former trainee, Peter Wright,
all my life I've enjoyed doing this.
Has been a Yorkshire vet for over 40 years.
I'm getting the impression that you wouldn't take me on as an assistant, is that right?
Probably.
Peter's old partner, Julian Norton,
With a gloved hand and a lubricated finger, I'm well equipped.
now runs 2 practices. And in the foothills of the Pennines,
I'm armed and ready.
a new generation of town and country vets
This is the closest to James Bond I think I'll ever getting.
also uphold the Herriot ethos.
Another day in paradise.
And welcome to the show, Peter. Also, can we just appreciate what we've just stepped
This
into?
is unbelievable.
This is delightful.
Well, I think you've done this to make me feel at home, haven't you?
Yes, we have. And I tried to put a hat on for you, but it turns out I've got a rather large head, so apologies for that.
I'm going to
Peter.
keep it on for the whole interview. This is fantastic.
I've got to say, you do look like a proper farmer.
Oh,
Does,
thank
doesn't
you.
he?
Yeah.
It's convincing.
I'm actually from farming background. I grew up on a farm.
Did you really?
Yeah, on a dairy farm.
Did you really?
Oh, right.
So I genuinely love your show, Peter, the Yorkshire Vet. I think because I sort of understand how important veterinary stuff is, and I think sort of the job you do is so incredible. And tell us about this new series.
Well, just before I say that, you know, talking about farming in general and working with farmers, which I've done all my career, and they're always quite cautious with the money, particularly Yorkshire farmers. And we note it for having very deep pockets and short arms. You understand that one, don't you? And, you know, you might have flogged your guts out, carving a cow, which might have taken you an hour and a half. You've produced a lovely live calf, you've got sweat pouring off you, and the farmer will look at you and say, ah, that's all right. But don't be our heavy with pen, which means don't be too steep with the bill. And my old boss was Alf Wright, James Herriot.
Yeah.
And as a young vet, I'd priced this job up, this quite arduous job on a farm, and mentioned it to Alf Wright. He said, Peter, he said, with Yorkshire farmers, he says, if you do it for nothing, they'll still want a bit knocking off.
It's very true.
Sounds like my wife, to be fair.
What can you tell us about this series, though? Because it's 19 years since the Yorkshire Vet started. What can we expect from this series?
We're in Series 19 now, and we've just, in May, celebrated our 200th episode. And I did say to Paul Stead, who's Mr Daisy Beck, who makes the production and makes the programme, I said, Paul, at the outset, I said, nobody will watch this. I said, you're wasting your money because it's all been done before. All these vet programmes have been done before. So he said, I said, it won't work. He said, it will, veterinary, it will. And he never, ever ceases to remind me what I said. Veterinary, you said it wouldn't work, and he repeated that again at the 200th episode. So I was proved wrong. I'm never going to have to forget it, really. But in this episode, it's going to be... You know, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, our world, the veterinary world, is progressing all the time. There's more technology involved. And the country practice I work in now, Grace Lane at Kirby Moorside, we've just installed a CT scanner.
Right.
And we needed it, and it's going to appear in the next episode. And when I say can't teach an old dog new tricks, I'm the old dog, because it's very hard to embrace this technology when I've been in practice for 40 years.
Yeah.
And we had to carry out a CT scan on this dog, this Labrador, with a tumour behind the eye. The eye was starting to bulge out, and the dog, it was becoming increasingly painful. And we needed a lot more information on what was going on. So we carried out a CT scan on this dog. And it was absolutely great. The detail you get from this new technology is fantastic. So I had to learn how to use this.
Wow.
And then we send the scan off to for expert interpretation. But even me, as a novice reading, it was like reading an X-ray in some ways. And you could see the mass sitting there at the back of the eye, and the mass was going around the optic nerve, which made removing it problematic. But without the CT scan, we wouldn't have had the detailed information that we have to be able to go ahead and successfully remove it. So we've got things like that coming up. We've also got, in tomorrow night's episode, I'm dehorning cows.
Oh, right, yes.
And that's...
Wait, did you burn it? Do you have to burn the horn? Is that what happens?
Yes, John. You know, I'm often seen at the Greens, Mr and Mrs Green, who appear regularly. Stephen Green is reportedly Britain's oldest farmer. He's 95, gone February. And we often take the buds off, the horn buds off then, with a burner. They're relatively easy to do, but these are adult cows that have got to be dehorned, and you either use, having numbed them so they don't feel any pain, you either take them off with a cheese wire, so you actually put them, or a saw.
This is what blows my mind about your job, Peter, is that you have to have such a wealth of knowledge about so many different animals.
Yeah.
You know, when you're a doctor of humans, you just have to know about humans.
Humans are pretty much humans.
You have to know about, you know, dogs and chickens. I mean, they must be completely different.
Yeah.
Joel, working in Yorkshire, you can have no ego whatsoever. So I refer to myself as a jack of all trades and master of none.
Is there any animals that you'd steer clear of?
Oh, yes. Snakes.
Snakes.
Yeah, snakes.
Well, no one likes a snake.
Well, luckily, there's not many of those in Yorkshire, is there?
We'll steer clear of snakes.
Well, we do have adders.
We do have adders
we often get animals brought in with adder bites, and they can be they can be nasty, they can be life-threatening. But the thing about snakes is, you know, if you have a cow that's going to have a go at you, you know, the old ears go back, they have this stare at you. With a horse, if it's going to kick or bite, you get some warnings. With cats, if they're going to scratch, you just know by the expressions. But a snake will just sit there impassively. What's it thinking? What's its eyes telling you? Absolutely zero.
Yeah.
So I'm not comfortable with snakes.
It's too unpredictable.
That was such a good impression of a snake.
It was the best. It was the best snake I ever seen.
It's so good. Apparently, there was an interesting encounter between, is it a hedgehog and a dog in this series?
Oh, that was in a former series. Yes, that was an interesting one. And this lady rang up. She wanted to bring a young bulldog in who, shall we say, was finding his feet. He was becoming a little bit amorous. And she looked out of the kitchen window, and this dog's called Little Boss. And Little Boss was trying to have a relationship with a hedgehog in the garden in front of her very eyes.
What?
Oh, what?
Well, she
sounds painful.
She said he's not at all happy. He's very uncomfortable. I need to bring him in to have a checkup. So she brought him in. I mean, my mind was working overtime because our programme, obviously, the Yorkshire Vet, goes out before the watershed. So you've got to be very careful what you say. So I had to let my mind sort of make the words for me in many ways. And the other thing about our programme is it appeals to children of 4 through to people in the 90s.
Yeah.
And, you know, you've got to be careful how you put things. But the mind boggled, really.
Well, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Well,
sounds very painful.
I took Little Boss through into what we call the preparation area where the nurses were there, and I said, this chap's... I said he's tried to have sex with a hedgehog. And there was a few titters, and then we had to sort of, our professional heads had to kick in, and we had to examine him. And his prepuce surrounding his penis was very, very swollen and quite infected. But I've got to say, that was all. That was all that we had to deal with. So Little Boss got off very lightly. Now, I assume he learned his lesson after that because we never had any more issues with Little Boss.
I do hope so. I'm sure that's one way to learn your lesson.
If I get a swollen penis, I'll give you a call, Peter, OK?
I'll put you somewhere else, Joel.
Peter, that's not all, because you're sticking with us today to do our phone-in as well, right? If anyone here has a pet-related problem, they can give you a call, is that right?
Absolutely fine.
Yes, that's it. Give us a call for free on 08000 30 40 44 or scan the QR code that's on your screen now to get involved by using our Free This Morning app. Please get in touch by 11:15 today and you must be 18 or over. We'll see you a bit later. Right, coming up.